All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Speak On It. Before we get started, y'all know what it is. Make sure y'all subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Also, follow us on our Facebook page. And again, we are on multi platforms. So make sure you go listen to us on our Anchor. Um, Make sure that you go follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. So, jam packed show, divisional round, some the Nets basketball. So we're just gonna jump right into it. Let's start. Let's start with let's start with the Nets. Had a good had they shoot they playing right now, and they played against I want to say Orlando. They played against Orlando on the weekend. Um, their two stars look good. I'm not gonna lie to you. Their two stars look good. James Harden looked good. Kevin Durant looked good. Kevin Durant gave 42. James Harden gave you a 32-point triple double. And this is overweight James Harden. This this ain't in shape James Harden. Um, do you think they going to? Do you think they're going to the finals?
That's the goal, right? I
That's the
don't
goal.
think I don't think anything less than that would be a disappointment. Anything less than getting to the finals would be a disappointment. I think I think the expectation of them getting to the finals and winning is probably too much when they're in year one. When the Lakers, their core is in year two, the Clippers year two, other teams year three, four. Them in year one, even though they're extremely talented, I still think it's a lot to ask for them to be put into to championship or bust. But I think getting to the finals it should be the minimal for them this year.
I agree with you. I think that they will. Again, they have to get to the finals. I think they have to get to the finals. Um, Even when I think about the East, coming out of the East, Boston is the team that has probably had the most cohesiveness. Um, you think about Giannis and them, I think that they're flawed as well. Um, the Heat, I don't know if I don't know if they are the same Heat team. I told you in the beginning, I think that was a fluke year for them. I think that that was a bubble year, which them getting to the finals. And then I think about my Sixers. Um, I don't. We're up and down. Yeah, I mean, I think that um, we don't know what's going to happen there as far as what Ben Simmons is. He going to be there? Is he going to get big? Is he going to shoot? What's going to happen with Joel Embiid's health? Yeah, I mean, because he missed like 2, 3 games already out of I think the 12 that we played. Yeah, I mean 13 that we played. So um, I think that the goal is finals. And if you can't get to the finals with those three players, um, then we start to have to we're going to pick again. We're going to pick that team apart. We're going to question Steve Nash. We're going to question Kyrie. Um, but I think that they will get to the finals. Look, and I think they're going to be able to compete in the finals. Like we think about like LeBron and last year, they that was their first year, but they won it all. Again, I know it was a bubble season, but when I think about the Heat, old 2011 Heat, 2010 Heat, they got to the finals. I know they lost. You know, I mean, to a team that was more cohesive. Um, but like you said, I think the goal is to get to the finals, and I think that they have all the pieces and the talent to get to the finals. But I agree with you that if they go against one of those teams that has a juggernaut that's been playing for a while, it could be a little bit difficult on them. But I think if they can gel during the season, I think that they can actually win it all.
I don't know if they can win it all. Again, I don't know. I don't trust Kyrie. I feel like he's gonna be the guy to derail him. And at the same time, I'm not sure what this that bench is gonna look like now. I'm not sold on that bench.
That's another thing I wanted to bring up. I think that bench will get. Um, I think it will get play itself out. I think again we think about always having the buyout market. I think they still make trades. Um, but I think there's going to be teams that actually players that actually want to go play with them. Now, who those type of players are is yet to be seen. But I think that they will have people doing the waiver wire or the buyout market where people want to go and actually play with them. Sort of like with the Clippers last year and the Lakers last year. I think people want to see them as championship contenders, and they're going to want to see if they can hitch their wagon to a championship. So I think people will actually line up to go and play with them. So again, I agree. I get you. I think it's yet to be seen, but I think people will line up to try to go and play with them. But I think those three, like you said, that's enough. That's a lot of firepower right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
A lot of firepower right there. Um, Sticking with the NBA, we've seen a couple of games get postponed already throughout the season. Um, we had a couple of games postponed already again yesterday, and one postponed today. Do you think that the NBA will actually finish the season on schedule?
No, I think they're gonna have to start pushing dates back in order to get in order to get the entire 72 in that they want to get in. So in order for that to happen, they're gonna have to start pushing things back. They can't get this under control. And it's really not their fault. They are a representation of what America's going through right now. Like they're living out, they're not in the bubble. They're outside of the bubble. So if they're living their life, that's how it's gonna go. So
I think I agree with you. Again, like we've said many times, I think that if there's any commissioner or any leadership group that we have to get the benefit of the doubt and trust in, is this one. Um, Maybe that's why they didn't give out the full schedule in the beginning because they wanted to give themselves a grace period to get those postponements in to actually try to finish on schedule. But I'm with you. I just don't see how they can finish on schedule with as many games that they got have postponed. Um, and I don't see this ending anytime soon because I think there will be more postponements as well. So I do think that they will actually have to push the season out a little bit longer, and then I want to see what that actually looks like as far as playoffs and as far as where they finish this year and where they start next year. I mean, do we have another December start? I mean, if it's August, a late August finish. So I think that that's going to be intriguing. That's going to be interesting as well.
you know what I'm a fan of, and I was a fan of it before they changed it. I was a fan of the first round being a best of five. Like, to me, that format made it a little bit more interesting. It made it a little bit more exciting, and it gave those higher seed teams a little bit more sense of urgency. So I wouldn't be opposed to doing that if you want to take away some games in the postseason. So
I agree. I mean, I'm with you. If they can, because I think a lot of people like in any sport, when you say playoffs, that's when people automatically tune in. You know what I mean? Because they want to see the best of the best, right? So I'm with you. If you want to take a couple of games off, add some more teams, and then just do, like you said, a 5 game series in the first round. I think that'd be awesome, and that'd make basketball. I'm not saying basketball is not interesting, but that'd make it even more interesting. Having the round robin where you're having teams that the playing games, but also having, like you said, that extra game, that extra round with only a 5 game series. You know what I mean? That's going to heighten your intensity. That's going to heighten your focus because listen, I only got 3 games I can give you, not 4. You know what I mean? I only got 3 games that, you know what I mean, that I got to win or that I can lose to get knocked out. So I'm with you. I think that that'll be interesting. That'll be a great way to actually get things popping and interesting, and especially in this pandemic year. Um, Question I got is okay. Next question. Um, we saw Deshaun Watson. One, I hear he's not even taking calls. He's not even taking Houston calls. Um, I want to ask you this: Is he wrong? Is it wrong for the way he's going about it?
no, no. I think LeBron has set this trend across sports of player empowerment. He started the movement, and this is how they are getting things done. Like, I don't think he's doing it any different than what James Harden just did to get out of Houston. And I didn't think James Harden was wrong for the way he went about it. He spoke from the heart. He spoke how he felt. That team wasn't as good as the teams that he had been with that went to deep playoff runs. They weren't. There's a lot of question marks with that team. He's got to depend on John Wall being healthy and being himself to begin with. Like, if John Wall is John Wall, if this was John Wall from 3-4 years ago, I don't think James Harden would even want out. But it's not. So I didn't feel like he was wrong for feeling the way he felt. I don't feel that Sean is wrong for the way that he's feeling right now. This is a franchise that traded away his go-to guy. And after that, they did exactly what most people thought they were going to do. They sucked. They fired a coach. Like, he's like, I don't know where this organization is going, and I want to win. This is another kid that came from that Clemson winning program and tradition. He wants to win. And he's seen Andre Johnson wasted there. He's playing with J.J. Watt now, who's been wasted there. Why would he sit there and go through the same thing? He wants out, and he wants out now. I agree with him 100%.
I think a couple of things that you brought up, right, that's intriguing and interesting is I think about, like, D'Amico Ryans, right? Think about Brian Cushing, Mario Williams, Andre Johnson, Arian Foster, all these players, right, that they had enough. They had a lot of talent come through that organization. And I think they didn't do any of them right. They didn't do right by any of them. I think that they, like you said, I think they wasted a lot of the talent that came to Houston. Like you said, J.J. Watt now, and the Andre Johnsons, and the Jadeveon Clowney who won it out. You know what I mean? And now the franchise. When you get your guy, the franchise quarterback, I'll go way back. David Carr wasn't the bad quarterback. He was a monster at Fresno. Came to Houston, did him dirty as well.
Yep.
Surround that man with the talent, then surround that man with the offensive line, got him killed. I just think that's a franchise that has no leadership. That's a franchise that has no direction and no vision. So to answer the question, I don't think that he's going about it the wrong way. I think that sometimes we wait too long to voice our opinions. We wait too long. We wait 10 years in, and now just hoping that that it gets corrected, hoping that they're going to do right by me. So I don't think he's going about it the wrong way. And then again, when you ask his opinion on something as a franchise guy and as the face of the franchise, and when I give you my opinion, and when I give you my say, my buy-in, I would like for those things to be taken seriously, not just brushed aside and you're gonna do your own thing. If you was gonna do your own thing, why did you ask me?
Exactly.
Like, and then when I think about what they did with, like, they hired a search firm. They hired a new GM, and the GM that the search firm told them to hire, they ignored them as well. Like, that again speaks to me of no vision, no leadership. Like, okay, what you just wanted to waste money? That's what you wanted to do. You just wanted to waste money. Because what was your whole purpose of hiring the search firm and not take their advice if you was going to do your own thing? It's like you just doing things for show.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, bro. I don't think. Go ahead.
Isn't this the same? Isn't the owner the one that said the inmates running the asylum?
Yep.
Right? Okay. Just ready to be
Same
sure.
owner. Same Kyle McNair, Kyle Kyle McNair. Same
Yeah.
dude that came out and said the inmates are running the asylum.
Yeah. So
So, you know what I mean, when you got that type of leadership, and I think that nobody's gonna want to follow you. The reason I ask you a question because I think that that's some old school thinking, old school teaching. Um, Dick Vermeil told Deshaun Watson to shut up and play. Basically, to stop acting like a baby. Trust the process. Trust the organization. Shut up and play. So that's why I asked the question because it got me to thinking like, is he wrong for doing what he's doing, or is he valid for doing what he's doing? Because
he's
I think
extremely valid.
like,
This is if a kid was going through the motions, he was acting like he didn't care and it was just about the money, then they would question him. But here's a kid that's like, I don't want to be here anymore because this organization has shown us that they're not about winning. And people are still telling him to just shut up and go and play. Like, no. He wants to win. That's what this is about. This is about winning. This is about being in a position to win. And when has the Texans ever shown us that they were about winning?
I think they draft well. I think they draft well, but at certain spots. But like you said, other than that, like you said, I don't think that they've shown us that they were about winning. They don't portray their own. I feel like nobody. And it's crazy is that it's Houston. Like that's a popular city. Like it's Houston. Like people aren't just not wanting to not go to Houston.
Yes, they do draft well. They draft well, and sometimes they make moves in free agency, and you're like, cool. But it's the hires that they make.
Mm-hmm. The leaders.
It's the hires that they make though for the sideline that you just be like, I don't know about. I don't know if that's the guy that you really want, and we'll see where they go.
Yeah, listen. I don't know if anybody really wants that job. Just being 100% honest. I
Not
don't
now with the
know
show.
who's your quarterback. Yeah, I mean now and again. If I'm being real, I would move to Sean sooner rather than later. I would. You know what I mean? Especially if he's doesn't want to be there. Um, because you're bringing the coach and the GM into a dysfunctional situation, and when you bring somebody in new, you want it to be cool. Like you want all the baggage to be going. It's like getting into a new relationship, right? Like I don't want to jump into a relationship you not even know you're not with your ex. I don't want to jump into a relationship like
I
where
don't want to jump in a relationship and your ex still living with you. That's what
absolutely.
that's like. That's what it's like. But this is the thing. The only way you retain him is if you hire a guy to mend that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who that guy is, but that's the only way. That's the only way you can retain him is if you hire a guy that can mend that relationship. Otherwise, you have to move him. He doesn't want to be there.
Let me ask you this question: do you hire a guy that you don't believe in, but Deshaun wants just to keep him there and happy, or do you move on from Deshaun and actually just get the guy that you actually want, or the leader that you think is going to be the leader of your organization?
I'm gonna get my guy. I'm gonna get my guy because that's what it's about. It's about me getting the person that's best for the organization and not just best for the quarterback. He's great. He's great, but he doesn't want to be here right now. And it's really me coming in as a new GM, like he's mad at the organization. He's not mad at me. He's not mad at the new coach that I'm gonna bring in. He's mad at the organization. So I'm gonna move him because that's what's best for the organization because he doesn't want to be here. Hiring the coach specifically for him, that's not really good because he might just spite you. Like he might just spite you. Like let me just get a guy he's really just gonna be about me and just me, and not so.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm torn on that because if I'm an organization, I'd be like, okay, this guy's gonna keep me my friend, my 24, 25-year-old franchise quarterback. He's gonna keep him happy. But if I do hire him just for Deshaun, I'm gonna tell them, both of y'all careers are tied together. So guess what? If Deshaun is gone, you are gone. Deshaun don't perform unless the coach comes in and overwhelms. You know what I mean, and wins everybody over. But y'all careers tied together. Deshaun got 5 more years in him. Coach, you got 5 years in you. I like that. That's how it will be. Deshaun, if Deshaun falls off, sorry, you got to go as well.
See, and as a GM, I'd rather bank on my guy than bank on a guy that I don't really trust, but I'm only taking him just to make my quarterback happy.
I'm with you. That's why I said I'm torn because I'm with you. You have to do because the Texans will be here longer than Deshaun Watson. They'll be here longer than Deshaun Watson. They were here before Deshaun Watson. They'll be here longer than Deshaun Watson. So you have to get a guy that's going to see your vision and run with that. But the Deshaun is part of that vision. So I agree with you. I feel as though that you got to move on from him sooner rather than later, and get what you can for him. Because you don't have a first round pick, so you have to get what you can from him and get the most out of him. So speaking of that, where do you think the best fit or the possible destinations for Deshaun Watson will be?
What's scary and what will probably not happen is the team right there in the division. Colts. I think he would fit in real well with Pittman and Taylor and Pascal and T.Y. Hilton. Like I think he fits in right. He fits in well right there in that division, but they'll never trade him. They'll never trade him in the division. You know, like Philly did that to Donovan because they knew Donovan was on his way out. Like, you really want him? Like, oh, sure, take him. You can take our leftovers. You know what I mean? So, but I don't know. Other than the Colts, there's teams out there. Minnesota. We always throw Minnesota out there. We always throw Minnesota out there. We always feel like they're a quarterback away. But other than that, I don't really know where he could go and immediately be in Super Bowl contention. You know, he can get into the playoffs in Washington. You know what I mean? Maybe Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh might be a good place. So, I don't know.
I think, Indianapolis move. That's a good move. I like the Pittsburgh move. I like Vegas. I like the Vegas move. I think an intriguing one is Dallas. I mean, if you can package Dak, and that high pick to get Deshaun Watson there, I think that'll be intriguing. That's if you don't believe in Dak. Dak wants to be out. But I think not the best move, but I think the team that's going to give them the best packs and the best value, is going to be the Jets, because they can offer a bunch of first round picks to get them. They also have 2 first rounders this year, which they're probably going to take a quarterback. Yeah, I mean maybe. But if you can give up Sam Darnold and a pick, and a couple of picks for Deshaun Watson, that's intriguing. But what about the place that he wants to go? Probably, or the place that everybody's talking about, which is Miami. I mean, for Tua and a pick, maybe that's intriguing.
Do you give up Tua? Do you give up Tua so soon though
I
for
don't think that
Deshaun?
you should give. I don't think that you should give up on Tua. Like it's like when I think about my team, right, the Eagles. I'm like giving up Deshaun. I'm giving up Jalen and Carson, and I'm like, well, if it's just for Jalen and Carson, I'll probably give it up. But when you start talking about picks, you know what I mean, and all of that, then I start to think like, well, is it really worth it? Is it really worth giving up all of that? So just to give up on Tua, who's on a rookie deal, who went 6-3, who haven't had a full all season. Um, Personally, I don't know if I would do that because I believe that you can still win with Tua, and we don't know if Tua can be a top 5 quarterback. We know that Sean is a top 5 quarterback, but it's going to come with um, he's going to come with um, a contract, and like we talked about, he's not gonna be able to do it on his own. We just seen the team in the with the Texans, and to me, I believe the Texans actually have more pieces on defense outside of the secondary, and more pieces, more offensive weapons than the than the Miami Dolphins. So I don't know if Deshaun Watson is going to be automatically fixed in Miami. So
I'm not so. I wouldn't trade. I wouldn't stop what I have in Miami. I feel like if you bring in Deshaun, you're kind of starting over versus where picking up where you left off. So I wouldn't make that move personally. I feel like you started something there with what you have. You can add to that, but I feel like you're gonna be starting over if you bring in Deshaun.
I agree with you that you should just build it. And that's why I said I probably want to do it because you should just build what you've been. You won what 10-6? They went 10-6 this year. Just build off of what you've already built. Um, Now the this one just popped in my head, and I was like um, maybe Jacksonville. But then again, it's like would I trade up the opportunity to get Trevor Lawrence on a rookie deal for Deshaun Watson? Um, when I need more. And again, I think
But
Deshaun, I think the Jets have a great team, but
I've heard some crazy stuff too, and it's more of the fan base of Baltimore talking about Lamar for Deshaun, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, it really doesn't matter if you don't change the OC. But that's just me. I don't care who you bring in. If Greg Roman is still the OC, it doesn't matter.
this this notion, this what kills me that you brought that up, right? This is why I hate fans because Lamar Jackson has been in the playoffs 3 years. How many seasons he been in the NFL?
3.
3 years. He been there 3 years. Went to the playoffs 3 times. I think he like 22. He just turned 23. Um, he got the MVP under his belt. Does he have the weapons that Lamar Jackson that Deshaun Watson got?
Yeah.
He got the weapons that Deshaun Watson got.
Yeah.
I don't think he got the weapons. Did he have a Hollywood? Not a Hollywood. Did he have a DeAndre Hopkins?
No, not now. Now he does. He has the weapons that Deshaun Watson has now.
I'm just saying.
They're
He
just
never had
not
no DeAndre.
used. They're just not used properly.
He doesn't have he didn't have DeAndre Hopkins.
No, he's never had that, but now he does. Like, I think if Hollywood is used correctly, he could be just as good as Brandon Cooks.
I agree with that, but I also don't think the Brandon Cooks is the number one right now. But I agree. I agree that Hollywood can be if used correctly, he can be a Brandon Cooks. I actually thought he was the best wide receiver coming out in the draft. And that's the same draft class with DK Metcalf. I thought Hollywood Brown was the best receiver coming out of the draft. Then it was DK and then AJ Brown. I just don't think Hollywood Brown is used correctly. So I'm with you. I think he could be Tyreek Hill. I think Hollywood Brown could be Tyreek Hill if used properly. So I'm with you. But the reason I brought it up because these fans that just want to get rid of Lamar Jackson, who is a Super Bowl winning, not Super Bowl, but he's an MVP. He's been to the playoffs 3 seasons out of his 3 seasons that he's been in the NFL. And I think Deshaun Watson's only been in the playoffs twice. He's been in the playoffs twice. I know, I get it. He's a refined passer, but you don't ask Lamar Jackson to be that type of passer. He beats you with his legs right now. Could you imagine when he becomes a more refined passer, what he would be?
Yeah,
like you said, getting the right coaching, what he would be.
I'm not of that. I'm not of the trade Lamar and give up on Lamar. I'm not about that. I'm about finding a new OC and starting over with this offense from scratch and figuring out a way to get our guys to get the ball in space. Like those guys need the ball in space, whether it's Boykins or Hollywood. Those guys. Like Duvernay is good. Like those guys are good, man. They're good football players, and they need the football. So,
shoot, Devin Duvernay had 100-something yards, 100-something receptions in college. Like you said, they need to figure out a way to open up the offense, and I think that getting the OC, who is going to allow Lamar Jackson, because I think he's mastered. Lamar Jackson has mastered that Greg Roman offense. He's mastered. There's nothing more you can add to him. There's nothing more that you can ask of him out of that offense. So you need more. He needs more from that offensive group. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
Well, so we're just sticking football. We're talking about that. Let's jump right to the divisional games. Right, start with that game. My takeaways from the game is that was a great game, man. That was a good game. Great defensive game. Great play calling on by Wink Martindale. Great play calling by Leslie Frazier. And I just think that the weather played a part. But what I take away from the game, and I text you after, I see I need more. I need more on the outside. Or like you said, they just need to be utilized more on the outside. Something needs to change for y'all on the outside because we seen Stephon Diggs make plays for them, and who was making the plays for y'all outside of Lamar Jackson? Who was making the plays for y'all? Like it was plays that Lamar was marvelous in that game. I hate people to come up with this narrative that he didn't do. He was dancing back there, climbing the pocket, and it wasn't like he was dancing to run. He danced. Okay, the lane not there. Just reset his feet. Throw. People drop the passes. People get open.
For as terrible as he played, for as bad as he was, we were going to tie the game before the pick six. Like we were. That's what we were doing. We were going to tie the game. So as bad as he had played, he was still in a position at that point to go in and tie that game up because the defense was up to the task of playing against that great offense that Buffalo had. And they kept him out of the end zone. Other than they gave up one touchdown. That was it. Then you don't expect Justin Tucker to miss 2 field goals in any conditions. In any conditions, you don't expect them to miss 2 field goals in any
You don't
conditions.
expect Sam Cook to do what he did,
Like
botch punt.
everything that could have went wrong at some point went wrong. You know, bad penalties at times. Like it was a typical Baltimore Raven football game, and you know, people will look at that and say, "Man, 17-3, they got dominated." And I'm looking like, I don't know what game you watched. That game was 2 to 3 plays away from us winning.
Yep.
So it was a play calling and offense and just offensive game, just an offensive style. It just needs to change. That's it. That's it.
I agree. I agree with you. I think he has all the tools, and I think I don't know who. I think it was Joe Balkan Aikman who was calling the game. And he was like, Aikman was like, Lamar Jackson is a pocket passer, and when he said it, I was like, what? And then when I started thinking about it, I'm like, he doesn't. You can see him go through his progressions. You legit see him go through his progressions. He go boom, 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 and then he'll take off and run because he knows athletic. And then he was saying, if you look at him back in college, he was a pocket passer. He went through his progressions. So I was thinking, like what me and you talked about. He needs. Y'all need to have he doesn't need to throw the ball 40, 50 times. He doesn't need to do that. He needs to throw the ball. I look at it like touches, like Christian McCaffrey, right? Christian McCaffrey isn't a 40. He's not a Derrick Henry type 40 type carry back, but he can be a 40. He could be a 30 touchback. You know what I mean? Like 20 carries, 10 catches. I think Lamar Jackson needs to be that type. Maybe 20, 25 passes, 10, 15 rushes. But I think that there need to be more explosion in those 20, 25 passes and not thinking dunk passes. Because you see, he can throw the ball downfield. He got a big arm, and he can throw the ball downfield. Just gotta, like you said, just gotta open it up a little bit more.
I think he's fine. I think he's gonna continue to get better. I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is just the offensive system. So gotta make a decision there if you want to move on from there. And really, I believe that's gonna be up to John. And if John doesn't want to move up from there, I believe you move on from John.
Whoa, see, you about to get into the other question we got on the joint. I'm gonna hold off on that joint, but I gotta ask you this question. Moving forward, right? Does this make Josh Allen the second best quarterback in the league?
Second best quarterback in the league?
Yes.
No. Not yet.
Because y'all know how I feel. I thought that LaMarvelous was the best quarterback in the league. Not just pocket passer. You know what I mean? Because people want to say quarterback, he's a pocket. He doesn't know how to throw. But I think he was the best quarterback in the league because of how dynamic he was and the things they could do with his legs and his arm. People are going to say it, yeah, I mean, regardless if you like it or not. Josh Allen beat Lamar, who was the best or the second best young quarterback behind Patrick Mahomes. Is it Lamar or is it Josh Allen? I agree with you. I don't think that Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the league just based off of that game. But I think Josh Allen is probably – I think he's the third or fourth best quarterback in the league. In my opinion. I think Josh Allen's the third or fourth best quarterback. Not too many quarterbacks I'm taking over Josh Allen.
You can make that argument.
And listen, I'm gonna say this for all the listeners: say, "Oh, you're jumping on the bandwagon, yada yada." I've been a Josh Allen. I've been on Josh Allen since day one. I've been a fan of Josh Allen since day one, since he came out of Wyoming. So, yeah, I think he can be. Yeah, I think he can be. I think he is the third or fourth best quarterback in the league. If I'm thinking about taking the quarterback, I'm going to take Pat. I'm going to take Josh. Anything other than that, it's a toss up and debatable to me. You can say Deshaun Watson maybe, but at this point, I'm taking Josh Allen over Deshaun Watson as well. Russ, I'm gonna take Josh Allen over Russ as well.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Russ got some monsters over there. It ain't like Russ is devoid of talent. He got some horses over there, and every year for some reason, Russ don't get it done since he won that championship. Man, he just can't get it done.
Yeah, but he also in the playoffs every year too.
He is in the playoffs every year. He is in the playoffs every year.
Like Josh just getting introduced to this time.
And Josh has been in the playoffs 2 out of 3 years. Yeah, I mean, rookie year.
He just getting introduced to this time of year. You know what I mean?
I know. I get it. I understand.
Russ is used to this time of year, so
he also used to get knocked out in this time of year. Also, first of all. And again, I love Russ, man. I love Russ. But again, if I'm just talking about what I've seen, I think Josh took his game to another level this year. Where we thought early on that Russ was going to take his game to another level, and then we seen him scale back. Josh Allen took his game to another level and stayed at that level. So I know we're going. It's debatable.
Let's start seeing it. Let's start seeing it year after year.
I got you.
Start seeing some consistency, and then I'll put him up there. But Josh, there's no doubt that he's trending in that direction.
Yeah, no doubt.
No question that he's trending into that top 3 area.
Yeah, he's definitely trending into that top 3 area. I could put him in top 3 right now. I just couldn't put him at 3 right now. Yeah, I mean again, but yeah, he's trending up there. He's trending in that direction. Let's get to that other game on Saturday. Dang, it was a bad week for me. I think I picked the only team that won that I picked was
the Chiefs for me.
The Chiefs. No, I thought you picked. Oh no! Oh no, the Bucks. Okay, the Chiefs and the Bucks for me. It was the Chiefs and the Bucks for me. Okay. Let's get to the other game. Okay, the Packers and the Packers and the Rams. When we was texting back and forth on the game, I had more. I thought more of the Rams. I thought more of the Rams. And I know Aaron Rodgers. I know Aaron Donald was injured. Played 54% of the snaps, and we was talking like, dang.
He was injured.
Yeah, he was injured. He has a rib contusion or something like that. Like it's a puncture or something close like that. Like he's gonna have to have surgery after then. And I think that's what they were saying. But yeah, he was injured. He played 54% of the snaps, and they actually gave him the option of taking himself in and out. I want to talk about that. But even then, I was like, man, I just thought like they should have done more. They should have done more. They should have had a bigger pass rush or something. I know Aaron Donald's a monster. I know he's the best defensive player in the league. But that's what the whole defense is predicated on Aaron Donald.
If Aaron Donald can't go, then Jalen has to shadow 17 to the shower, to the locker room, to his car, to the concession stand. He doesn't leave 17. I don't understand that game plan. Like you called that game like Aaron Donald was 100% available. Like that's the way the game plan looked. And even though you could tell, I'm like, man, he don't look. He's not getting the snaps that he's normally getting. I'm looking like, man, something's up with this, and I'm questioning McVay. I'm like, yo, this don't make sense. This don't make sense because he should be out on the field. Like, you shouldn't be limiting his snaps right now. He needs to be all in because there is no next week. So, yeah, Jalen should have shadowed Devontae all over the place.
And I remember I hit you up. I said, "Yo, why he not shadowing Devontae Adams? Why is he not? Why he's not following him everywhere? Like, I get it, Devontae in the slot. I don't care if Devontae in the slot. I'm there on him in the slot. Like you said, I don't care where Devontae Adams is. It was a commercial where I forget who was shadowing somebody, and they ordered pizza, and the corner showed up and smacked the pizza out of his hand. It was like, I'm everywhere. Like, that's what it should have been with Jalen Ramsey. I didn't use Troy Hill. Troy Hill should. I don't care if Troy Hill had a great season. Troy Hill ain't he can't cover he can't cover 17. He can't cover Devontae Adams. I don't care about the boy Williams. He can't cover Devontae Adams. So I'm with you. That's what you brought Jalen Ramsey in here for. I brought Jalen Ramsey in here for that guy. And especially like you said, if Aaron Donald ain't 100%, your other defensive player of the year candidate, he got to show up. He got to do his thing. Or even double team Devontae Adams. Do something. When Jalen Ramsey ain't on Devontae Adams, you got to double team Devontae Adams. You have to. Especially if that guy is not, that guy can't go.
Yeah, and the Packers, man, they looked good on both sides of the ball, man. The defense was all over the place, making plays, and offensively, they got three guys that can run the football. They got depth at the running back position, and then Aaron Rodgers is just Aaron Rodgers. He's gonna make the throws. He's gonna put it where it's supposed to be. It's gonna be up to his guys. They make the catches. So, again, can you go in Lambeau and win? We thought the Rams was the team that could have done it. And again, I thought, and taking nothing from the Rams offense, I thought Jared Goff, and I thought the offense
absolutely good.
Made enough plays that if their defense was what it was supposed to be, they could have won. They should have won that game.
Definitely could have won that game. I think the most disheartening thing about it was that they was able to rush for 200 yards. The Packers was able to rush for 200 yards, and I get it again. Aaron Donald was not there. And here's another thing I wanted to talk about it. Aaron Donald had it was his choice to take himself in and out of the game. Two things about that for me. Aaron, if you out there, be out there. Don't check yourself out unless it's passing downs. You need to be out there, Aaron. You know what I mean, if it's a running down, stuff like that, okay, you want to catch a breather or anything like that, or just don't play. You know what I mean? Because when the game plan is about you and you're not there and you're checking yourself in and out, to me that leaves your defense at a disadvantage. You know what I mean? But if you go in and you're not there, then we know how we got to do this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
I would have rather him not play because he still didn't have an impact on the game.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least a big enough impact on the game to change the outcome of the game. Yeah, he was out there and he was able to get them some stops when they needed him, but for the most part, when they needed him the most, he was on the sideline.
I think he had a big impact, but it wasn't for the Rams. It was for the Packers. It was for the Packers. He had a huge impact for the Packers. Like, he had the penalty. He was out there getting beat up. Like, if you can't beat Aaron Donald,
then don't be out there.
Don't be out there. But when you are out there, bro, you out here grabbing face masks and throwing punches and stuff like that. Like, that was huge. I think that penalty was huge. So I'm with you. Aaron, if you couldn't have been 100%, don't be out there. Let's go to the Chiefs Browns game, man. Listen, the Browns played a heck of a game. Not gonna lie to you. I think they played one heck of a game, but I think they were bitten by a rookie head coach. Rookie head coach. I think the reason that you picked the Browns, they could have won the game. For the same reason that the exact reason that you said, I think the Browns is going to win this game because I think they know who Baker is, and what makes him successful. If they would have stuck to that, they would have won the game. They would legit would have won the game. Nope. They're going to come out. You know what? I'm going. It felt like Kevin Stefanski was coaching against his special teams coach, the one that balled the previous week. Like, I'm going to come out. I'm going to show him. Baker threw the ball 37 times. That's not how you that. That's not how you were successful. They ran the ball 22 times. And then for some of it, I was like, where the hell is Kareem Hunt? You out here throwing screens to Nick Chubbs. Not saying that Nick Chubbs can't catch, but Nick Chubbs is your workhorse. That's your workhorse. That's the one that's going in between. He's going to get your power. But if I want to throw a screen pass, I got Kareem Hunt for that. The game plan to me was, for me, it was super simple, but they made it super hard. They made the game plan super hard, which enabled the Chiefs to win that game, in my opinion. Some other things that happened also, but I think that if you want to start with something, I had to start with Kevin Stefanski's game plan.
I'm with you. And in light of the things that transpired during the game, it made it even worse. Because when Patrick Mahomes go down, now the door is open, and I'm like, man, you really can just take control of this game. And for a minute, it looked like they were, but they weren't able to because they weren't able to get first downs when they needed to get first downs. I was like, come on, Cleveland. Like, you got a chance to really shake the entire playoff up. But they weren't able to. And for the most part, I thought the Browns showed that they're going to be good going forward. And what the Chiefs showed is they still know how to win a game if Patrick Mahomes isn't on or if Patrick Mahomes isn't available.
The Chiefs showed me that Andy Reid is the best coach in football right there. He's the best coach in football because he's going to put his team and his players in a position to be successful. That's what he's going to do. And he did it again on Sunday. Like, Patrick Mahomes go down. Patrick Mahomes ain't played. I think they said the last 28 minutes of the game. It was Chad Henne. That's a lot of time to be without Patrick Mahomes and for you to still win it. For you to still win the game. And the crazy thing is, it's the Chiefs or the Browns legit had an opportunity to go and win the game. Chad Henne gave him a layup, kicked it right to him, threw it right to him. Gave him a layup. That's 8 minutes. That was 8 minutes left. But that two-headed monster that you got in the backfield, you should have ate up that whole 8 minutes, scored, and then said, Chad Henne, go beat me. But they couldn't. He couldn't get it done. It felt like remember when they were trying to make Russ the guy, and then get the ball to Marshawn. What it felt like yesterday. They was trying to justify Baker Mayfield being the number one pick and turn the team over to him. That's what it felt like. He threw the ball 37 times, bro. 5.5 yards per pass. Yeah, that's not a winning recipe.
That's not how Cleveland wins football games.
That's how y'all got yourselves top draft picks. And that's how they got themselves drafted. That's how they found themselves in the bad position early on. So yeah, that was That was alarming for me. Um, the other player, I'm not gonna dismiss that because I want to ask you about it. The the Rashard Hennings play or Rashard Higgins play. He running, he diving. The ball gets knocked out, goes into the end zone. I think that was a momentum shift as well. But I think that's the dumbest rule we said we was gonna do a show on the dumbest rules ever. I think that's one of the dumbest rules I've ever seen in my life. It's one of the dumbest rules I've ever seen in my life. You should legit strip all momentum from Cleveland. Strip all of it. If I'm driving and the ball bounces out of the bounces out of bounds, it fumbles out of bounds. They place the ball back at the spot where I fumbled. If it bounces in the end zone and goes out of bounds, it's the other team's ball. What? They didn't do nothing to get the ball. They didn't even recover the ball. How is it their ball? I should get the ball where I fumbled it at. That's the dumbest rule I've ever seen in my life. That's legit the dumbest rule I've ever seen in my life. You should get the ball where you fumble. Especially if it's not a recovery for the defense. I should get the ball where I fumbled it at. Not the other team get the ball, man. That's dumb.
Yeah, it's a touchback, and I don't get it. But hey, like I guess that's how it is. Anytime you like possess it, it's like when you kick it. I guess that's a possession. So if you kick it and it goes through the end zone, and so I guess it's the same premise. So, but I don't know. It's one of those things that it's it's kind of like when the idiot throws the ball back before he goes before he breaks the plane, and you're just like, God, dog. That's how you feel every time somebody fumbles the ball through the end zone. You're like, really, right there though. Of all the places you couldn't hold on to the ball right there. So I'm
you
with
heard
you.
Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski came at him. He said, "Bruh, we teach, don't reach." Shaw Higgins got that caught reaching and it fumbled, but again, it's still a dumb rule, man. The rule is just so stupid, and I hope they revisit it, and I hope they make changes on that rule, man, because that's a huge momentum shift right there. They get that score, they win the game. They get that score, they win the game. But anyway, legacy bowl, legacy game. Buccaneers, Saints. Phew. Man, listen, I thought it was a good game. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought it was a good game. It showed me a couple things. Drew need to go and retire. Let's be like, just throw that out there. Drew, it was a good run. You have nothing else to prove. You have nothing else to prove. Rick Ross got this saying, right? We say, or he said it first. Been in the game, however many years, never nobody's greatest. Never at the top of nobody's greatness list. You feel me? I still think Rick Ross is a great rapper. He's never gonna be anybody's top 5. He has nothing else to prove. You know what I mean? He unless Rick Ross just start banging out and he can still bang out platinum hit after platinum hit. He still probably won't be the greatest. That's how I feel about Drew Brees. There's nothing that Drew Brees could have done or could do that's going to make him the greatest. There's nothing else for him to prove. You have touchdown records, you have passing records, you have completion records. Your arm is not there anymore.
No, it's there.
Your arm is just not there no more. Go and hang it up. When he was like, man, I'm gonna think about it, and Drew, just go and hang it up, bro. Like Esmond said on Saturday, we've been at the same song and dance, bro, for the past 4 years. Go and wrap it up. Go and hang it up, man. It always ends the same. It's like when you watch a movie, right? and they give you alternate endings on DVD. That's the Saints. You know the movie, you see the movie, but it's an alternate ending every year. They got alternate endings every year, but it's the same. And just go ahead and hang it up, bro. Go ahead and hang it up.
The first interception, I just was like, what in the world? That's it. I was like, pull him now. I thought to myself, pull him now. Taysom Hill isn't playing. Jameis gives you the best chance to win this ball. And then he threw another one. And then he threw another one. And I was like, oh my gosh. The only reason he didn't announce his retirement last night was because he didn't want to be remembered like that. He didn't want, you know what I mean? He didn't want to retire with that taste in his mouth. And I can understand it.
I definitely can understand that.
I can definitely understand it because that was not his best showing. So, but it's definitely time. But on the other side, he's not that far behind. He's not that far behind. We can pretend, you know, like he was the GOAT and like he wasn't that great. He wasn't that great yesterday.
I think Tom did what he was supposed to do. I'm a manage the game. Tom was a game manager. He made the throws that needed to be made, but then he relied on his running game and his defense. Now listen, Tom made some throws yesterday where the Chris Godwin throw that should have been a touchdown. Chris Godwin dropped it. The Rob Gronkowski throw. Rob Gronkowski dropped that one as well. But other than that, like you said, he managed the game. This is what Drew Brees should have did. Should have managed the game. Just don't try to do too much. Just manage the game.
Yeah.
The best throw to me yesterday was James Winston's throw. The best throw of the game.
That was the best completion. Yes, that was completion. That was the best completion.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, now that we've been talked about all of, Tom's got a tough one, man. Because he's got to go and try to keep that arm fired up in Green Bay. So,
I'm going to tell you this. Y'all know I picked, listen, one half of my duo is still in there. Yeah, I mean, I picked the Ravens and I picked the Bucks. I think he's going to the Super Bowl. And it's not because of Tom. I think Tom will make all the throws. I don't think Tom is going to lose him a game. But Devin White, bro. Devin White balling. He is balling, bro. I think that defense is going to hit that stride. They're hitting that stride at the right time. And they're getting Vita Vea back. I know we're going to talk about this stuff and make picks later on in the week. But listen. It's going to be tough for Tom. But if anybody can do it, I bet on the guy who's been there 14 times and went to 9 Super Bowls and won 6 of them. So I know it feels like it's Aaron here, but I also feel like it's Tom here.
And then on the other side, concussion protocol is the determining factor of that game. Chad Henne can't outdo Josh Allen.
Heck no, man. They might as well just give him the game. They might as well just forfeit the game if
because that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a duel. So, and Buffalo's defense is really good. It's really good, but when Andy Reid's play calling with those weapons, you're not gonna be able to slow it down, but only so much.
I agree, bro. I agree. I said we're gonna pick the picks later on, but if Patrick Mahomes is not 100%, man, it's a letdown. I'm not saying it's going. I'm disappointed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll be disappointed. Those 2 games on Sunday or whenever they play, those are some of the 2 of the most exciting games that we're going to have all season. Patrick Mahomes versus Tom versus Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen, and Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. We've never seen it. Like we always
Never
want to
seen
call it LeBron.
Yeah.
This might be it, man. This might be as close as we can get. So, it's gonna be exciting.
Couldn't be scripted any better, huh?
Couldn't be scripted any better. But I'm gonna tell you this: if Tom Brady makes a Super Bowl, man, it's NFL rigged. Signal, I'm just playing. Only quarterback to ever do it, the GOAT, the only quarterback to ever have a home game in the Super Bowl, and it just happened to be Tom Brady. Anyway, let's get to the lack of minority coaches getting opportunities still, bro. Still. It's disrespectful to me. And I think we talked about it a little bit on Saturday. Like they brought in Deuce Staley, never had no role, never really had no intention to make him the head coach. They bring in Todd Bowles, Leslie Frazier. They have no intention on hiring these guys as head coaches. And Eric Bieniemy he's not even going to get the head coaching job. And again, we're seeing all these things come out about Eric Bieniemy now. It's just mind-boggling, bro, the way that they are treating minorities in the NFL. And Robert Saleh, I think he got it because he just has a different energy about him, a different aura about him. And it feels like, okay, we hired the one guy. We gave it. It's like when a company has the one black person.
They met their quota.
We met our quota. We met our black quota. That's what they feel like. We met our quota. We met our quota. One black GM was hired this year. One black head coach. Met our quota. Good. No way you can tell me that. What's the boy name? Who just got hired by the Lions? Is a better coach than Eric Bieniemy. No way you can tell me that the boy, whose defense was supposed to be a top defense, just got slaughtered by Aaron Rodgers. Is a better coach than the offensive coordinator who's actually still playing in Kansas City, who's probably going to win who's won the Super Bowl already and has the opportunity to win another one. Just no way. Leslie Frazier is still coaching. Defense look good. Todd Bowles still coaching. Defense look good. Like, there's no way you can tell me these things, bro.
I just think it's just more evidence that there's no progress. There's no progress. Like, we're in 2021 now, and we're still trying to break down barriers for coaching a sport at the highest level. Coaching a sport. That's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous, especially when you consider that the majority of the league, as far as players, are black. And so what you're saying is you're smart enough to play it at a high level, but there's not enough of you in here are good enough or smart enough to coach it at this level as well. But there's guys that have never played it at this level. They're smart enough to coach it at this level. That to me is what's weird, is that guys that have never played at that level are more qualified to coach than guys that have played at that level. Because that's another thing with a lot of the black minorities, is that a lot of them played at the NFL, in the NFL. That's the weird part.
Like, some of the coaches that's getting hired hasn't even coached at that level. Like Brandon Staley, not taking anything from Brandon Staley, right? But 2 years ago, he was the linebacker coach that was his first gig. He was a linebacker coach for the Rams. Got promoted to DC this year. Fast track to the Chargers job. Eric Bieniemy been offensive coordinator for the past 2 seasons or past 3 seasons, however long. He took over for, um, I believe he took over for Doug or Matt Nagy. He took over for Matt Nagy, I think, and he's been the OC ever since. He's been doing this for a while, and he's played in the NFL, but he can't get no shot. He can't get no opportunity. So like you said, man, they've been a lot of them that's getting hired. A lot of these coaches getting hired hasn't coached at this level or played at that level, and it's just mind boggling to me that we're not seeing more African Americans, more minorities get their chance, or even being taken seriously, um, to play the position. And it's like what you said. It's a lot of them that just think like we haven't made any progress because the thing was their thing was, um, they can play skill positions, but they're not smart enough to be quarterbacks and coaches.
Yeah.
And like you said, we're still seeing the same thing. They're not smart enough to be quarterbacks and coaches.
Yep. Still that same stereotype.
But majority of the quarterbacks in your farm system, they black. When it comes to the NFL, you want to make them skill positions.
Yep.
Yeah, it's sad, man. Sad day. Sad. Especially on this MLK day. Let's get to something interesting. Just we try to predict the future a little bit. I asked you what are some of the potential landing spots or the potential head coaching jobs that's going to open up, in 2022, and some of them that will be interesting and intriguing, in 2022. So, I'm gonna give you five if you want to go five. I'm gonna give you five though. It's always like five or six that open up. First one I think that's going to be intriguing is the Bears job. I think Matt Nagy is on his last leg there, um, and I think that is going to be a job that opens up because I think that defense is going to be good. Um, I think that, um, they have pieces to work with on defense, so I think that's going to be an intriguing job, and I think that's going to be one of the jobs that opens up.
Oh, man. I'm with you on that one. I think that's a job that's probably going to be available because I expected it to be available after this year. I like him, but I got a feeling that the Vikings job is going to be available.
That's one I looked at as well. Yep.
If they don't, if they don't at least get to the Super Bowl, because they can't you can't keep building championship defenses and drafting offensive weapons. You just drafted Delvin Cook a few years ago. You just drafted Justin Jefferson. You let Stephon Diggs go because you still had Adam Thielen, and you paid money for Kirk Cousins, and you're not winning. Unfortunately, somebody's gonna have to go.
I'm with you. I agree with you on that one. That's one of the ones I did look at in pencil. Um, Denver. I think Denver is a job that will open up. I know he just got hired like 2 years ago, um, but I think that is a job that I think that they have great defenses. They built, some of the offensive weapons around, um, Drew Lock, but I think that is a job that I think that could be opening as well, um, if they don't get to a spot where they can compete and contend. I, the other teams in that divisions, they competing. They're playing well. Las Vegas, Chargers, Chiefs. They all got their guy, or they all moving forward, trending in that way. I think, Denver's going to have pressure to try to continue that way as well. That way as well.
I'm with you. I agree with Denver. Um, Whew. Going out on a limb here, but I'm gonna say the Rams.
This is why we here, man. I looked at it like, all right, yeah.
And I'm only saying that because you were just in the Super Bowl, and you're not even getting back into that conversation anymore. Like going into this year, some people didn't even think you were a playoff team, and then you got in, and then this is the performance that you gave us. So yeah, I'm not sure how much more of the boy wonder they're gonna be able to take in Los Angeles, especially when the Lakers are winning championships, then the Dodgers are winning championships. So they're gonna expect championships from the Rams as well. So it's gonna be a lot of pressure for him to perform.
I think the thing that I think about with that is a couple things, right? I'm gonna give you some nuggets to back your point. This year that's the postseason. Regular season, they had 23.1 points per game. That's what their scoring average was. Ain't Sean McVay supposed to be an offensive guru? 23.1 points per game ain't gonna cut it. Especially when Matt LaFleur was your offensive coordinator. He gone now for the past 2 seasons. He's gone. You know where he coached? He the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, who just beat you, who in the playoffs. 24.6 points per game in 2019. Matt LaFleur wasn't there. Matt LaFleur was there. 2018, he averaged 33 points per game. So is it Sean McVay or was it Matt LaFleur? Questions. When Matt LaFleur ain't there, y'all look good. I mean, when Matt LaFleur there, y'all look good. Matt LaFleur not there, you're looking good. You're not looking good. And it's a defense that actually carries you this year. So I'm with you. I think the Rams is a job that could be intriguing and can become available if they have another disappointing season. Another one I think that could be interesting, sitting in that same division, is Cliff Kingsbury. Cardinals got a job. I think he can, because for you to have that hot start with Kyler, and then for y'all to trail off, and y'all got weapons. Yeah, I mean y'all got weapons on that team. Cliff Kingsbury ain't won nowhere. He hasn't won anywhere. And if you have another bad season, if you have another mediocre season, you have another 8-8 season, which is very doable in that division, the 49ers going to come back. They'll come back. I'm believing that they'll come back. That's what my man to mind. The Rams, Seahawks, that's a tough division. I think Cliff Kingsbury could be on the hot seat, and that job could be available.
Well, I'm staying right in that division as well. And Pete Carroll, man.
Ooh, Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, man. Like we can't keep giving him passes because he won a Super Bowl. Think about it. He beat Peyton Manning in that Super Bowl. Let's just put that in perspective. Let's just put it in the perspective. Earl Thomas was good when he won that Super Bowl. So it's been a while. A lot has transpired since he won that Super Bowl. And Russ in the offense keeps sputtering. Every year down the stretch, something happens with this team. And I'm not sure if it's Pete Carroll's, because he's a player's coach. So I'm not sure if his philosophy is still working in that locker room. Just let's just put it like that. I'm not sure if his philosophy, his personality is still working in that locker room, and it might be just the time for a change there. I'm not saying that he's doing a bad job, because I don't think he's doing a bad job at all. Sometimes it's just time for a change.
Gotcha. I agree. I'm gonna get one more throw out there. We talked about it earlier. John Harbaugh. I think John Harbaugh, that job can be can become available because just some of the miscues and the mishaps that he has had. And I know it's crazy because he just won Super Bowl in 2012, but some of the game management stuff that he does is mind-boggling to me. So I think that job could become available. I don't know if it will, but that will be an interesting one to look at as well.
Agreed. I didn't want to say nothing because I didn't want to be a homer and say that, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, he talked about the Ravens. Because, no, I'll let him do it for me.
So that's it. Hey, that's our show. We're gonna wrap it up with today is MLK Day. So I want to pay homage and respect to MLK for what he has done and what he stood for when he was here and the things that he believed that we don't see as well. I want to say basically what I was talking about, what we talked about with the minorities not really getting the shots that they deserve. It's a slap to me. It's a slap in the face to what he died for, what he believed, what he preached about. You know what I mean? Like he spoke about equality. Yeah, I mean he wanted to. I know he wanted. You're talking about. He was preaching about segregation and everything like that. But when I think about like, are we not still segregated in just sports? We talk about sports, right? Not talking about the grand scheme of things because that'll be a whole nother show. You know what I mean? But just in sports and based on some of the things that we talk about, is that not still segregation? We're talking about they can't. I don't think quarterbacks or black quarterbacks are smart enough to play that position or smart enough to coach that position. That's still segregation. So again, go back to what you were saying. We've made that much progress, that much, because we still got the same stuff happening when he was alive. I know it's not to the magnitude, or maybe it is to the magnitude. I wasn't born then, but it's still so much stuff that is happening in the world, and I'm on record saying it on tape that being real, I wish we still had segregation. Just being real, like at least I would know that you don't like me. You know what I mean? At least I would know. And if you were for me, then you would stand out and say that I'm for you. You would stand for me, stand on my side. But nowadays, it feel like you don't know who for you, who against you, and that's crazy. That's a bad way to live, man. That's a bad way to world or society to live in.
Yeah, I feel you on that, bro. As I was just sitting back and just thinking about, Martin Luther King, what I always think about was the nonviolence part of it, and how, we today, we're ready to fight with somebody say 8 words on Facebook about us. You know what I mean? And to think that this man, was spat on, hit with rocks, sticks, different things like that. And even though I'm sure he wanted to, but he didn't. And so to think that he was able to have that type of restraint is just amazing to me. That's it. That's what I always think about. Like, man, he was able to to withstand that because he knew he had a purpose and he knew he had a goal in mind, and he knew in order to see that goal, he had to go through certain things, and he was willing to make those sacrifices. So I thank him for it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I wanted to say this real quick before we get to final thoughts. I don't. I don't want. I love the freedoms that he died for. We talk about the having being able to go into bathrooms and being able to go into restaurants and stuff like that. I don't want y'all to think when I say I wish we still had segregation. And my thought process on it is saying that um, there's a lot of undercover racism still out there. There's still a lot of undercover segregation out there. Let's just be real. Um, and I would rather me know who is for me and who's not for me. I would rather to know that racist cops is going to be against me. I mean, I don't wanna get pulled over and think, man, maybe this might be it for me. You know what I mean? At least I know if I get a white cop back then he pull up on me, I know it's probably it for me. Like, yeah, you know what I mean, like, or I'm probably not gonna get a fair sentence. You know what I mean, or fair shot. But it's just a lot of things that is hidden now that it wasn't back then.
I'm with you.
You know what I mean? Final thoughts again. Staying on same topic with MLK. Um, I just want to say that I know his famous speech. I mean, I had a dream, and we start to see this dream come to pass. I'm gonna say that if you got a dream, um, and even if that is that much progress that you see, and like Bibb said, um, if it's a dream that you have, just stay the course. You know what I mean? Even I know it's tough when you don't see progress and see results when you want to see them. But if it's a purpose and if it's your dream, I'm encouraging you to stay the course. Keep going. Great things will happen if you keep going.
Yep. And what I'm gonna say is just remember why you're doing things. Sometimes we get so caught up in just getting results. We forget why it is that we're doing things. Just remember why it is that you're doing things, and remember the love and the passion that you have for those things that you're doing. So I encourage everybody, man. 2021 is gonna be better than 2020, man. Just keep that in the front of your mind, man, and speak it every day if you have to yourself. 2021 is gonna be better than 2020.
I agree. Listen, that's our show for the day. Y'all know what it is. We talk about a lot of things. I want to say what Biv just said. Show's about speak on it. If you keep speaking on it, you'll start to see it manifest. But that's our show. If you like our show, make sure you subscribe, like our page. Make sure you go follow us on YouTube and Instagram. If you want to be on the show moving forward about anything, sports um, or cultural related, make sure y'all hit us up or inbox us, and we'll make sure that we get you on the show. But until next time, y'all, I'm gonna holler at y'all. Speak on.
Peace.